Hey everyone, welcome to my review of the 900th edition of Monday Night Raw, and I have to say it was an okay edition of Raw. I mean, I know there are some people that don't think so. I mean, some that think, it could have been better, and some that think that, and excuse me if you can't see me, oops, I'm fixing a few things here. Ah, there we go. Perfect. Anyway, I know there are some. If it ain't one thing, it's another. I'll find it in a second. But anyway, I'm sorry about those interruptions. But again, like I said, I know some people didn't like the outcome of Raw. Some feel as though it could have been better, and I bet it could have been. I admit, perhaps for this edition of Raw, they could have made it 3 hours, but they didn't. Instead, it was only a 2-hour show. And it was okay for a 2-hour show. I mean, you packed in a few good things there. I mean, the opening segment was great, having Bret Hart kick it off and, and basically say that since the beginning, he's been there for most of it. And so, but the one that's been there at the beginning along with him was The Undertaker. And then, of course, this brings out Kane, who basically has a promo kind of deal with Hart and then tries to attack him by saying, hey, since my brother took out an icon in Shawn Michaels, I'm going to have to take you out just as well. So basically Kane tries to take out Bret Hart. Hart Dynasty comes out to save him. They get wiped out. Then the lights go out. Then the Undertaker shows up, and then I'm just going to come out and say it. I'm a fan of the WWE. I'm a fan of Monday Night Raw. But the truth is, I am getting sick and tired of this whole GM deal. This whole anonymous GM. Why don't they just, excuse my language, but why don't they fucking come out and reveal who it is, for God's sakes? Excuse my using of the Lord's name, but why can't they just come out and reveal who it is? I mean, everybody's saying it's going to be Triple H. Everybody's saying it's going to be Michael Cole. As far as I'm concerned, those are the two top candidates for this whole situation. Why can't they just come out with whoever it is and say, I'm the GM, and get it over with? Instead of this whole ding 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 deal. I mean, I'm getting sick and tired of it. I know people watching Raw at home, on USA Network, on Sky Sports, everywhere, they're getting sick and tired of it. I know the people in the arena that go to Raw every Monday night, that attend Raw, those Monday nights, Raw's in their town, are getting sick and tired of it. I mean, for God's sake, can you imagine what would happen if Monday Night Raw, for nostalgic reasons, would have been held at the Hammerstein Ballroom tonight? Can you imagine what the fuck the fans would think of that? I mean, can you imagine the riot? Can you imagine how the fans would fucking feel about that? Excuse my language, and can you imagine it? I mean, we saw how they were 4 years ago when they had One Night Stand. And one sign said, if Cena wins, we riot. And I fucking believed it. And we saw how they were that same year when the main event, when ECW on Sci-Fi had a main event featuring Batista and the Big Show. I mean, come on, can you imagine what it would have been like if it would have been there? Hell, even imagine what it would have been like if it was at the arena, where Ring of Honor's at. Imagine imagine response. But anyway, the fucking GM comes out and says, it's going to, our main event, or one of our co-main events, is going to be The Undertaker versus Bret Hart. Yeah, right, like that's going to happen. Well, anyway, besides that, we get into our first match, which is a triple threat tag team match. We got Kofi Kingston, Michael McGillicuddy on one side, we have The Miz and Alex Riley on another, and we have Daniel Bryan and Kaval. Now, basically, this is just one last opportunity for fans to see the 3 finalists of NXT Season 2 go at it. And I have to say it was a pretty good match. And oh man, I love the way Michael Cole acts towards Daniel Bryan, and now Kaval. I mean, it just makes me laugh at the fact that he just hates the fact that on screen his character. I just get a kick out of the fact that Michael Cole hates the fact that WWE Universe and the fans at home acknowledge the accomplishments and the championships that both Daniel Bryan and Kaval one outside of the WWE. I mean, I fucking love that. I mean, I love it. I mean, he called them, what, the Internet Dream Team. Well, you know what? I think what's happening, what WWE's seen with this, and what they're hearing from the fans, the universe as they call it, and those at home, is WWE's realizing that fans are getting to them, are getting on, are basically figuring things out. That you could change the name of somebody, but it ain't going to change the fact of what they've done. I mean, that is so common. I mean, in the past, I mean, take a look. In the past, WWE used to acknowledge what some guys did in the past. Now they didn't. Now they don't. Well, they do, but they don't. Do you get what I'm saying? I mean, they'll acknowledge, let's see, what will they acknowledge? They'll acknowledge the fact that Chris Jericho is a former WCW champion. They'll acknowledge he was an ECW television champion. I mean, they'll acknowledge things like that, but they won't acknowledge the fact that, you know, they've done all these other things in the other promotions. Yeah, okay, sure. You don't have to come out and say, oh, this guy was something like, oh, Cabal, he was a champion in this company called TNA. He was a tag team in the Cruiserweight or X Division champion. You don't have to do that. You just have to say, oh yeah, you know, this guy was a former tag team champion in multiple promotions, or this guy was a former light heavyweight champion in former promotions. The same could be said for Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, you don't have to come out and say, oh, the guy's a former Ring of Honor tag team champion, or the guy's a former Ring of Honor pure champion, or the guy's a former Ring of Honor world heavyweight champion. You don't have to say that. All you have to say is, oh, this guy won tag team titles here, this guy won singles titles here, and this guy won a heavyweight title here. That's all you have to say. Yeah, fans will know what you're talking about, but you don't. But by saying that, you don't have to say, oh, this guy's from the Indies, or this guy's from here or there. I mean, well, you get what I'm saying. Well, anyway, we had a great match, and of course, Miz and Alex Riley win the match, and it just sets up more towards, I believe, our match between Daniel Bryan and The Miz at Night of Champions. And then throughout the course of the evening, I will say they were showing some great nostalgic moments from Raw for the past 17 years, and then you know, it was just great, showing some great nostalgic moments. And throughout the evening, they were also talking about how they surpassed Gunsmoke and I Love Lucy and Friends and The Simpsons, and well, duh, of course Raw is going to do that. I mean, if you've been on the air constantly week after week after week without repeating yourself, then yeah, you're going to have, you know, you're going to break a record. You're going to be the most watched show of all time. You're going to be the longest running show of all time. Of course you're going to do that. I mean, come on, it's obvious. Well then, anyway, the next match of the night is a Divas match, Raw vs. SmackDown. And it's Melina and Eve taking on LayCool. And Melina and Eve win the match. And then LayCool finally reveals the offer they have for Melina. Basically saying that it's going to be one of them, which I got a feeling it's going to be both. But Michelle basically comes out and says it's going to be one of them versus Melina at Night of Champions to unify both the Divas and the Women's Championships. And like I said, I got a feeling it's going to be both of them because I got a feeling we may have a triple threat match. Well, anyway, Melina says, hey, Melina basically responds by saying, hey, I knew you guys were going to probably come up with something like that, or, you know, come up with an offer like that. So I've come prepared with a stipulation that if we have to have this match, it's going to be a Lumberjill match. And as soon as she says that, here comes all the divas, all the babyface divas, all the heel divas. They come out, and you know, it looks to me like WWE, you know, is getting all the divas, heels and babyfaces banded together against LayCool because I think all the divas, heel and babyface, are getting sick and tired of LayCool's actions. Well, anyway, LayCool accepts and the match is set. Right now, we don't know if it's going to be Michelle or Layla, but like I said, I got a feeling it's going to be a triple threat. And then, of course, we have a 1-minute tag team match that breaks out into a no contest between John Morrison and R-Truth against Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. And basically, the thing for this match was it was supposed to be a #1 contenders match for the tag team titles. That did not happen, and that leaves the door open, as far as I'm concerned, for Nexus, for guys like maybe David Otunga or Michael Tarver or Heath Slater and Justin Gabriel, or any combination of the four with the exception of Wade Barrett, to come in and challenge for the titles. And then we also, and then what else? Oh yeah, we have the next match. We have Jack Swagger against Evan Bourne, and during this match, Alberto Del Rio comes out. I don't know why WWE did this, but he comes out and during the match, and of course Jack Swagger wins the match with the ankle lock. But afterwards, Alberto Del Rio says he's going to give fans a reenactment, the Raw fans, a reenactment of what he did to Rey Mysterio on SmackDown. So he goes and tries to do the same thing to Evan Bourne with the armbar and the chair. But Mark Henry comes out to save the day. So it looks like to me what they're doing by bringing Alberto Del Rio out on Raw just 2 weeks after his debut and all these vignettes, I've got a feeling that next year's draft, Alberto Del Rio is going to end up on Raw. That's just my feeling, because I think what they're doing on SmackDown is they're just grooming him, getting him main evented in the spotlight there, and then next year's draft he's going to go straight to Raw. Because Raw is supposed to be the flagship, the showcase, that's what it's going to be. Okay then. Of course we have a promo with the Straight Edge Society, and I'm surprised they didn't mention Serena being released or anything, or fired or removed. But basically they come out and CM Punk negatively shows all these clips that he feels were not right basically shows all these clips in the past that showcase how Raw has gone down the tubes. And then he says to prove that to prove SmackDown's better, he shows a clip between Brock Lesnar and Big Show when the ring collapsed. And of course that brings Big Show out to try to humor CM Punk by doing some impersonations. And then he does a straight up Hulk Hogan impersonation with a little straight edge flavor to it. And then of course this doesn't fly well with the Straight Edge Society. Big Show then slaps CM Punk, we have a brawl, and of course Big Show clears the ring of the Straight Edge Society. Then we have our main event, which was a 5-on-5 elimination match. Now, of course, throughout the night, earlier in the night, Chris Jericho says he's going to do something that's unprecedented here on Raw, something he's never done. And also says that if he doesn't win the WWE Championship at Night of Champions, he's leaving. I got a feeling straight up that if Chris Jericho doesn't win the title at Night of Champions, he's not going to quit the WWE. He's just going to quit Raw and go to SmackDown. I've got that feeling. But if he does, then he does, But anyway, the match starts. Looks like Chris Jericho's getting the fans behind him, and then he walks out on the match. Walks out, gets himself counted out. Then Edge comes in. Looks like Edge is going to take over. Edge pushes down the referee, gets himself disqualified and eliminated. You know what this tells me, though? This tells me that Chris Jericho and Edge are just character-wise, they're like, hey, we're not going to waste our time fighting in this match where we can rest up and have ourselves 100% ready for the six-pack challenge. That's what I see happening. Well, anyway, the last three that are in there are Sheamus, Randy Orton, and John Cena. Now, give Sheamus credit, despite what you think about him, he actually fought throughout the match. But being a heel and everything and having an ego, he wanted to prove he was better and he could do things on his own. He did a great job, but ended up getting eliminated by the Nexus. But then John Cena comes in, he takes out Heath Slater, but then he gets taken out. He takes out Heath Slater, he takes out Marco Talk, he takes out Heath Slater, but then he gets taken out by Justin Gabriel. Cena's eliminated. Then in comes Randy Orton, he eliminates Gabriel, RKO, he eliminates Tarver, RKO, and then he gets eliminated by Wade Barrett with the Wasteland Fallaway Slam. And thus giving Wade Barrett a little bit of momentum and making him look like he's unstoppable. But overall, it was an okay Raw, okay 900th edition, not really the best, but it was okay. I got a feeling down the road they might do something like they did with the 800th edition. They might do something for 3 hours later on. But it was an okay Raw, that's all I'm going to say. I give it maybe a 7 out of 10. Tell me what you think, and I'll talk to you all later.